Hey everybody, I'm kicking back here next to the St. Croix River where the Kinnickinnick River flows into it. And I'm watching this bald eagle right next to me sitting in this beautiful pine tree. Lately, you guys, I've been getting a lot of questions on how do I store my gear while out backpacking or paddling in the wilderness. When I come to camp, where do I store my gear? And that's a great question. Now, over the years, I've used 3 different ways to store my packing gear when I come to camp. The first way I've used many years while tent camping, but the third way is my favorite, and I find that to be the most efficient when you're sleeping overnight in a hammock. And besides the 3 ways, we're gonna look at some tips and tricks. Hey, there goes that bald eagle. The first way to store your packing gear is to hang it on a tree, either on a broken branch or some type of hook that you bring that has a strap to strap around the tree. Or a makeshift hook by taking a branch with a limb sticking out. You put 2 small notches on the top and the bottom where the limb sticks out. Split the branch in half. Then tie it to a tree with some type of cordage like paracord. So try to find a branch or set the hook at the perfect height that makes it easier to access your pack. If there's any chance of rain, then put the rain cover on to keep dry. Even though the back and the strap's not covered, you'd be surprised how dry they stay. And that's because it's against the trunk, which has the thickest foliage over it to shed the rain. But the negative to this method or way is when you hang it on a pine tree, you have to watch out for sap. You don't want to get that sticky sap on your pack. And also when you get up during the nighttime and you need to access some gear out of your pack, you get your flashlight and you go out in the nighttime looking for that pack where you hung it. And if it's raining, it's more of a negative. Now for the second way, and this is a question I'm most frequently asked, and a viewer about 3 weeks ago asked this question. Name is C or Cia, it's C-E-A, and they asked, are ridgelines strong enough that they can support a full backpack and a bag to hold my shoes? My thinking is essentially that I could bring everything with me off the ground under the tarp in case it rains. Now that's a great question, C or Cia, and the answer is more than likely. Let me explain. A lot of hammock companies today are switching out the ridge lines being made from amp steel to zinget or latchet, which is a thinner diameter and also less breaking strength, which I think is a big mistake. Because when you come to an area and the trees are farther apart and you're forced to hang at a lower angle, that's putting a lot of stress and pressure on your hammock, let alone the ridge line to hang your pack or gear. Now, zinget or latchet type cordage has a breaking strength of 440 pounds or 220 kilograms. Now, when your suspension is below a 20-degree angle, that's going to cause problems for that type of a ridge line. But if you're above 20 degrees of an angle on your suspension, that should work just fine. Now with an amp steel ridge line, which has a breaking strength of 1,600 pounds or 725 kilograms, with a 15-degree angle or even lower, that ridge line will protect the hammock, let alone you'll be able to hang your pack on it or shoes, and you'll be just fine. So on the second way, I like to take a carabiner and attach it to the loop on the pack. Then you attach the carabiner to either the continuous loop or the ridge line on the end of your hammock. I don't like to hang the pack in the middle of the ridge line. More than likely, it will pull it down too low. Just slide the pack closer to the foot end. The pros to this way is that you can slide the pack towards you to access it. Now the pros are when you know it's going to rain and you're set up in an area where there's possible flooding or a storm may be coming in with high winds, your pack is off the ground. Make sure you put that rain cover on there and it's protected and it'll keep everything dry. This is a great way or method to use in those extreme weather conditions. And to hang your hiking shoes or boots, just tie the laces together. Throw it over the ridge line or the continuous loop. Now I'd like to share a quick story with you. My friend Runner and I did a trip on Isle Royale, which is on Lake Superior, and when we came to the island, the rangers told us that we need to hang our shoes or boots or secure them because they have been having problems with foxes that were stealing them in the middle of the night. So people were waking up with one or both missing. Now that would be a bad situation to be in. Can you imagine having only one shoe or no shoe? And if you don't have any camp shoes, you would have to walk barefoot. Now the con to this method is you still have to get out of your hammock, walk over and dig through your pack to find what you're looking for. Now for the third and final way, again, which is my favorite, I use it the most. I find it to be the most efficient way when it's not raining, where it's going to be flooding, is to take your pack and strategically place that in the gear on a tarp underneath your hammock. First, you're going to need some type of a ground cloth. Any material that's waterproof like Tyvek or a poly tarp or heavy-duty plastic or a nylon tarp will work fine. And you want to cut out the dimensions starting at 3 by 2 feet, otherwise 90 by 60 centimeters on up. Now over the years I've been using many different waterproof materials for a ground cloth, but what I've been using lately is from Hammock Gear. It's a ripstop nylon waterproof material and it comes with 4 stakes to stake it down so it doesn't blow in the wind. But with this Hammock Gear tarp is that it has pockets on each corner which you can fill with rocks, sand, or anything to weigh it down to secure it from blowing around by the wind. The diameter is 59 inches, 150 centimeters long, and 57 inches, 145 centimeters wide. It also comes with a handy little stuff sack, which makes it very packable. Now this Hammock Gear ground cloth with the stakes weighs 8 ounces, which is 222 grams. But what I did is I ditched the stakes and brought the weight down to 6 ounces, 155 grams. A tip or trick when using a ground cloth underneath you, if there's a chance of rain or a storm coming in, not only can you angle the tarp to deflect the wind, but you also can angle the tarp to deflect the water to either direction, depending on the terrain, so the water does not come underneath you and into your and over the tarp. Now another type of ground cloth you can use if you know it's going to rain and there's a chance of flooding is called the bathtub floor. Now my son has been using this because he has a teepee tent with no floor, and these are designed for tents that do not have any floors. They come in 1-man or 2-man for sizes, and of course you'd want a 1-man, even though they're a little long, but the width is fine and they're lightweight. And what makes this really great is that they have little walls that pop up and stop the water from coming in if it gets wet or if there's any flooding. So let me show you how I take my pack and gear and set it on the tarp underneath me and why it works so well for me. First, set up your tarp underneath the hammock. Then set the pack on the feet end of the tarp. Make sure it will not touch the hammock when you get in it, but close enough so that you can access it without getting out of your hammock. Then set the other gear that you may need during the day or during the nighttime. Then I'll put my camp shoes in a strategic spot when I get in the hammock for bedtime. So when I have to go to the bathroom, all I have to do is swing my feet and legs over and out to land directly into my camp shoes, so I can hurry to do my business. I don't like to have the water bottle in or over the hammock, just in case of leakage. But I also like to put it in a strategic position to grab if I need a drink of water at night. My favorite piece of gear that I like to have hung over me in the hammock is my head flashlight. I can use that as a light for reading, and if I need to use it, it comes off just as easily as it was to attach to the ridgeline. When I take my clothes off before entering into the hammock at night, I just lay them on top of my pack just in case of flooding. Now these are the 3 most common ways to store your pack or gear when hammock camping or even tent camping, and they have worked well for me over the years. So how do you store your gear or pack? I would really like to know, and I think the viewers would like to know also. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Until we meet again, God bless you all.